Welcome to our third in a series on email marketing. Today we want to talk about the values, the benefits, the risks of using a purchased email list versus an organic email list, and how each can benefit your organization and some of the challenges that come. Welcome to Down in Digi, where we're getting down to the business of digital marketing. I'm your host, Karina Keys. So when we talk about purchased versus organic, it really is beneficial to understand what each of those terms mean and what the benefits or the risks that are associated with each of those options are. So let's start first with a purchased list. A purchase list for your email marketing comes when you work with a third-party entity to secure a list of email names that you can then send a message or an automation to. What you can do with that list is going to be pretty well spelled out when you make that purchase and depending on what you pay for it. But typically that list that you purchase are names that are not already familiar with your organization. They've not interacted with you, and although they have opted into a list somewhere, they've not necessarily opted in to receive messages directly from your organization. So some of the risks that we have with a purchase list is that there's a higher bounce rate that comes with that because you don't know how old some of those names are and how long that list has been around. There's a chance that people have moved organizations or closed email accounts, and that some of those names on that list are no longer relevant or going to get through. You're going to have a high bounce rate. Another risk associated with a purchase list is that you're going to have a lower open rate. Because people are not already familiar with you, they're not as likely to open and read the content that you're sending them. You will have some opens for sure, and there is some reach that happens with that. And if you need to get a mass message out to a certain demographic, entity, industry, job title, whatever, purchase lists can be pretty effective to do that because you can specify when you purchase that list who you want to receive your emails based on job titles, ages, demographic, home ownership, household incomes. There's a lot of parameters that you can utilize when you specify what you want that to do. Purchase lists can be highly effective when it comes to industry settings, especially when you think about trade shows and conferences. If you're a sponsor, oftentimes you can purchase the list of attendees and be able to message them after the conference. That can be highly effective at securing some follow-up meetings and closing the sale after the show. Now, let's talk about the organic list. An organic list is a list that you have built over the length of your organization or for as long as you've been collecting that information. It can include existing customers, it can include prospects, it can include different events that you've participated in which you've gathered names. But oftentimes your organic list is people that have specifically opted in and agreed to receive additional messages from your organization. They're already familiar with your brand, they know your company name, and they're more receptive to reading, opening, and interacting with that content within your list. Now, there's still a risk that if you don't maintain your list, that your bounce rate is going to go up over time because people move on, they change jobs, they close their accounts, or they change email accounts because they're getting too many emails. But overall, you tend to have higher open rates, higher conversion rates when you have an organic list. Although it takes a long time to build that list. To do it really, really well, it doesn't happen overnight, and it takes very intentional efforts on your teams, on your marketing team, on your company's behalf in order to collect, secure, and then utilize an organic list. Thanks for joining us today for Down in Digi. I hope you know more now than you did 5 minutes ago. Until next week, cheers.